biggest matches in esports history. You've seen her rocking the screen hosting DirecTV's coverage of BlizzCon. Please give a warm welcome to Blizzard Entertainment Senior Manager of Esports and your moderator for the afternoon, Miss Kim Phan.
Hello! Thank you for that introduction. First of all, welcome to the Comic-Con 2014 Blizzard Entertainment Showcase panel. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Whether you're new to Blizzard Entertainment or you're a longtime fan, we are so grateful to have you here to hang out with us, to spend time with us, and most importantly, to geek out on the Blizzard universes that we all are so passionate about. I want to know out there, how many of you heart StarCraft? All right. What about those of you who desire Diablo? Anyone enthralled by Warcraft? How about D? All of the above. And that's why we made Heroes of the Storm. How many of you guys actually thought I was going to announce a new franchise? Okay, that would be too mean. So I'm not here to do that, but I will tell you what we're here to talk about, and that is going to be discussing the Blizzard games that you're already all aware of, and of course the gear that we all love to wear so much to show our pride and passion for the games that we play. And so I just want to say that this is truly a really exciting year for Blizzard. We have a lot of great things to share with you all, and we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. And so I just want to say that thank you for allowing us to do what we do. You are Blizzard, and I want to know if you guys are ready. Let's get started.
It truly brought me into gaming.
Who's here excited for some Reaper of Souls? I waited so long for Diablo 3, and when it came out, I was like so ecstatic.
So 100,000 people tuned in to the final match of the Hearthstone tournament today.
What you're seeing here today is just the beginning.
Without all of you, it wouldn't be possible.
You should be here, you're missing it! This is the best!
Alright, hope you guys are excited now. I am so proud and honored to introduce to you guys our panelists for today. The first guest is no stranger to this stage or any Blizzard stage. If you enjoyed Blizzard games in the past 20 years, there's chances are that this man was instrumental in making it a reality. He is Blizzard's dreamer and visionary. He's one part Bono, one part Van Margera, one part Gary Gygax, and definitely a part unicorn. So please put your hands together and welcome Blizzard Entertainment's Senior Vice President of Story and Franchise Development, Mr. Chris Metzen. I just had to throw that in there. You're special.
That's good. I get it.
All right. Our next guest comes up to us straight from the splintered world of Azeroth, whose very words work reality and punish adventurers in their quest for glory. Some would call him a mad god. We like to call him lead game designer of World of Warcraft, Mr. Ian Hazakostas. is a really great room, by the way. You guys are awesome. Okay, next up, he's an author. He has written World of Warcraft, Ashbringer, Curse of the Worgen, and Pearl of Pandaria. He's two-time New York best-selling author. And I didn't know this, but I bet you he could be a celebrity spokesperson for microwavable mac and cheese. He eats it a lot. Please put your hands together for Blizzard's lead writer on publishing, Mr. Mickey Nielsen. All right, up next is a man who built Blizzard's cinematics group from a fledgling room of artists to a full-fledged film studio. He has directed countless cinematics and a contributor of Legendary's upcoming Warcraft feature film. Put your hands together for Vice President of Art and Cinematic Development, coming in at 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing almost as much as I do. It is Nick Carpenter. Last but not least, our final guest today has been in the game toy industry for 10 years, 3 of which he was allowed to see his family. He's Blizzard's toy guru. He's our Tom Hanks in big. Give it up for our highly articulated, heavily accessorized senior manager of toys and collectibles, Jason Bischoff. And this is our panelist for today. Before we get started, at Blizzard, we really embrace our community, and we really embrace all you guys very much. And I know that taking the time out of your day to spend here with us is very important. And so we want to make sure, for those of you who are new to Blizzard, first of all, how many people have never attended a Blizzard Entertainment Comic-Con panel? Wow, that's a lot of you guys.
Welcome.
Welcome. And so, usually when you go to a party and you don't know someone, there's always an icebreaker. And so I would like to start off with an icebreaker with this group to let those of you who are new to Blizzard and for the first time meeting these guys to get to know them a little bit better. This table is full of knowledge, Blizzard knowledge. And just to kind of show you that, I'm going to ask each one of you guys to tell me, how long have you worked at Blizzard Entertainment? We'll start with Jason.
6.5 years.
All right, Nick?
It'll be 20 years next month.
Wow, 20 years. You look
He's so
pretty-
spry.
I didn't know you started so young at Blizzard. All right, Mickey, what about you?
Mine was 20 years last December.
Congratulations. Ian?
I'm here 6 years. I'm a newbie up here.
And then Chris.
I'll be 21 in January.
All right, big round of applause. And I'll just throw it in there as well. I've been working with Blizzard Entertainment for almost 8.5 years. And so we're obviously very passionate about Blizzard. And there is, again, a lot of knowledge out here. I am not surprised, though, that Chris has been working at Blizzard the longest. I mean, he does look the oldest.
Mickey was here.
And the only reason why I'm going to say that is because while we're waiting backstage, there's a security guy back there, and he's getting to know us. And the question he asked us was, how long have you guys been in the industry? And before any of us could answer, he looks over to Chris and he said, well, I mean, I know you've obviously been in for a very long time in the industry. I can just tell by looking at you.
Thank you.
So anyway, tell me what is it?
I'm Irish. Our genes break down faster than everybody else.
Chris, what has it been like? Chris, Mickey, Nick, you guys have been at Blizzard for 20 years. You've seen so much happen. Kind of tell me your thoughts on what that has been like, this whirlwind of a ride.
Well, it started off as really, 10 people? I think it was 10 or 11 people when I got there, and it was just kids working on stuff that we really loved to work on. I got to animate Flash and Green Arrow for Justice League Task Force. So I was a kid in a candy store. It was amazing.
Yeah, playing a lot of Samurai Showdown. We played a lot of games, and we still do, but we played this little game called Samurai Showdown, and it really defined our culture, you guys. Like, funny enough, if you look through our games, you'll see little bits and little hints at a lot of that stuff. And I mean, we should just kick the shit out of each other. Kyoshiro.
Mm-hmm. It's funny looking back. It's a trip that it's been so long, and that's pretty rare. I think for people in the games industry, usually after X amount of time, you move to a different studio, you're doing that, and we actually have a lot of the core of Blizzard is still together after something like 20 years. We're kind of this weird band of brothers, or this weird family, and it's rare that people hold together that long. And it's funny looking back when we started, I mean, we used to come to Comic-Con just to buy back issues, like back in the day, and most of you will hear old people talk that way about Comic-Con, but it's crazy to see how far things came. We all grew up reading comics, reading books, playing D&D, and just being giant geeks in an age where it wasn't all that cool. And we were always very proud of what we did or whatever, but it's weird in the last 20 years to see that, in a weird way, we're almost in a post-geek age, where the word almost doesn't even have, like the kids coming up, my kids coming up now, like they'll never be ostracized for the things they're into. They'll never be looked down upon for loving Adventure Time or just loving, My Little Pony. And what an amazing time, right, to be building product with people and to be, kind of engaged with, just players and dreamers and artists and just getting to love on these ideas that we've always loved at a time where, like, it's what's being celebrated, right? It's just, it's crazy to look back and see how far we've all come, how far geek culture has come.
And one of the things that I get asked a lot from people who are big, passionate fans of Blizzard, the question is always, what is it like to work there? And it's always a hard question to answer because there are so many reasons why it's just great working at Blizzard. But the one that I think I hear from a lot of people is the people. The people at Blizzard is just absolutely amazing. And Chris mentioned there, it's family. And so I want to help you guys understand a little bit better about the chemistry that we have between the panelists here. And there's just so many Blizzard stories and so many great people. And we have different, departments represented here. And they all work together in some way or another. So I'm just going to pick someone who hasn't talked that much yet, Ian. So tell me a little bit about a story, or how do you work with one of these other guys on the panel?
So,
what is that relationship like?
Yeah, so okay, let me talk about Chris for a little bit. So obviously, my team, we've been working on the Warlords of Draenor expansion for the last almost couple of years now. Hard at work bringing this world to life. One of the most fun parts of putting together a Warcraft expansion is actually like laying the very, very, very early groundwork, the very first foundations. We had Miss Pandaria behind us, and the question was, well, what comes next? Where do we go from here? What worlds are left to explore? What stories are left to tell? And the first person that we turn to in trying to define that is Chris, who really has been shaping the Warcraft franchise and the lore since day one. And as we were kicking around different ideas, we knew that we wanted to do something even before the Mist storyline had fully unraveled and been told with Garrosh, and we knew that Garrosh was going to push things forward into a new direction and be the catalyst for this new adventure. But that got us thinking. We were initially thinking, well, what if he goes back to Outland? What if he's exiled? What if this? What if that? But then we started pulling out old instruction manuals from Warcraft 2, Beyond the Dark Portal, looking at maps of Draenor, the Red Planet. And really, Chris was the one who was there to shape all this, and we drew upon his vision, his expertise, and his passion for these stories, for these characters. And those of us who come to World of Warcraft more recently, we didn't necessarily know as much or have the direct connection to someone like Gul'dan or someone who was never actually depicted in World of Warcraft itself, because these were characters from a past era. But really, we're incredibly excited to, having explored a lot of the Warcraft 3 lore, to now really be able to draw upon the roots of the Warcraft universe, the Warcraft world, bring that into a new expansion, and take players to Draenor, the unspoiled world, home of the orcs, and realize the world that Chris worked on 15, 20 years ago.
Since you just brought up Warlords of Draenor, you are the only representation that we have here from one of the game dev teams. Can you tell everybody the latest update? How is the team progressing along? I know there's a lot of people here eagerly waiting for Warlords.
Yeah, we are really in the midst of our beta testing cycle for Warlords. Really excited to get people in and playing the game. Looking forward to sharing it with more and more people. We have a beta build, I think, actually going up today that's going to fully unlock the world of Draenor, allow players to level all the way up to 100 in our beta. We started raid testing. Actually made a post from like the lobby of my hotel this morning, scheduling a raid test for tomorrow. So just looking forward to getting more and more people in and participating in the experience and really helping shape the content and kind of join us as we iterate on the world to make it something amazing.
All right, Nick, do you have anything to add in terms of your relationship with one of these guys on the panel?
Well, I mean, outside of doing the cinematics, I got a sweet tooth for doing toys, and I've been working with this guy for many, many years, and you know, it's one of those great opportunities we get to go to work and actually work on toys. You know, every day, like, you know, I look forward to Mondays because I get to go back to work. You know, we get into the craziest stuff. And I mean,
Wait. What's the name of the meeting, Nick? What's the name of the meeting on Mondays? It's the Thunderdome.
Oh, yes. So we have a meeting, right? Actually, I think it was a way for you guys to get me to show up, but because I'm horrible at showing up at meetings, but they call this thing the Thunderdome. Basically what we do is just bring the best minds together, greatest talents, and we all sit around and we just shoot the shit and talk about like what could be cool. You know, hey, I want a cool statue of Titus, or hey, wouldn't it be cool to have a Diablo? You know, I mean, we've come so far where we actually have an in-house sculptor now working on this stuff. As a matter of fact, we just bought him a big 3D printer. So now we're actually just turning through some of these high-res models that we've actually created and actually seeing how they can be developed.
Well, as part of that, I will agree. It's awesome working with Nick and crew. Brian Fay was the sculptor that Nick just mentioned, and you guys would know Brian from doing like the Arthas 1/5 scale sideshow piece that he did a couple years ago, or the Deathwing piece that's on display in sideshow right now. Yeah, these guys are rad, and there's a lot of history and blood between us, and it's cool to see that come to the forefront every single Monday.
So, you mentioned toys. Obviously, we have some toys in our Blizzard booth that you're going to be able to check out. But I'm just kind of curious. I don't expect a lot of people to raise their hand, but does anyone out there follow me on Twitter? Okay, at least 2 of you. Okay, there's some people before. Awesome. So I have some Twitter followers. I don't expect a lot. But anyway, today I've been tweeting all day. I brought my own toy. This is one of my favorite toys. I'm celebrating him because we've been celebrating him this week. This is my Rhaegar toy, and he was made, I don't know when, but I'm sure one of these guys can tell you. And so he's been following me all around Comic-Con. I've been taking pictures with him. It's been pretty cool, and I love him. And the reason why I love him is because this week we actually just announced him as one of the heroes that are going to be added to Heroes of the Storm. So have you guys checked out that trailer yet? It was just released this week. I know there's a lot going on. Okay, that wasn't loud enough. So, for those of you who have not seen the trailer, I would like to go ahead and play it so that you guys can check it out.
I was born for the arena. On my squad, we trust the spirits for guidance. Big skin. And when our backs are to the wall, I call on the elements to evenly odds. The name's Rhaegar, Heroes of the Storm. I am the Storm.
We're still in technical alpha, and I know there's a lot of people wanting to get in, but we're hoping to add more and more people in very soon. But yeah, Rhaegar has a lot of history, actually. It's great to see him introduced in Heroes. It's been really fun to see his story. And before we talk about his story, though, Jason, do you know the history behind this toy?
It's really crazy. Nick and I were just sort of sharing a moment as the trailer was playing. What's really weird about Rhaegar is that, really, I mean, it starts with the action figure roughly 6.5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, when we were doing the line for the first time with DC Direct. And it's so weird that like that would ultimately inspire what became the comic that Mickey was working on like 4 years ago. So 6 years ago, we were talking about Rhaegar the action figure. 4 years ago, we were talking about Rhaegar the slaver in the World of Warcraft comic. And now he's like an actual playable thing. It's just kind of a cool, full circle kind of moment. It's weird.
He was in the I Am Murloc video too.
Is he?
I think so. I thought I saw him. Yeah, maybe like a roadie. So Mickey, tell us about the story of Rhaegar.
Yeah, Rhaegar, he had a gladiator team, and actually King Varian was one of the gladiators on his team back when Varian was Logosh. This was from the WoW Monthly comic. And Valera Sanguinar was actually on the team as well, so I'm assuming some of you know that name. Maybe from Hearthstone, yep. So she was there as well. So Rhaegar's had a colorful history, and I'm sure we're going to see much more of him in the future.
Actually, that's really crazy that you mentioned that, because Valera was created for the sideshow piece that we did 5 years ago. And then I guess people just really gravitated towards her, and then ultimately you put her in the comic again, and then you guys fleshed her out in Hearthstone.
Synergy.
Yes.
He just used that word.
All right, so I'm gonna leave my Rhaegar here. He's been following me. If you want to follow him on my Twitter it's Kim Phan. And I also want to make sure if you guys want to follow any of these guys, I know Chris has the Twitter. It's Chris Metzen, right?
I'm really bad at it though.
But you're so great to follow. And then Nick is Fubar Nick. And then I don't know, do any of you guys have a Twitter too? Ian, what's yours?
Watcher Dev, Watcher, like the word DEV.
Yep, I'm at Mickey Nielsen.
And Promethean Works.
Cool.
Good luck spelling it.
So that's how you can get to know these guys even more. Another thing I wanted to talk about is I hear a lot sometimes, we're often very surprised at how big our games get. I think every time we work on a game, we never really realize how well it's going to be received. And we're always excited that it will be. And then usually our expectations are always blown away. And I think one of the games that we've released recently that has really blown us away is Hearthstone. How many of you guys are playing Hearthstone? If you haven't heard, because you've been busy with Comic-Con, that's understandable, we actually released a adventure mode this week on Tuesday. It's the Curse of Nexramus, and it's the first wing that opened up. Has anyone tried playing it yet? Yay! That's great. Again, for those who haven't seen the trailer for Nexramus, I want to be able to show that for you guys too, so can we check that one out?
Whispers of an ancient tomb,
holding horrors in every room.
The ghouls poison dark, but in the shadows lurks something more. Death and abominations, cleaning your bits for new creations. And if by chance you should survive, there's plenty of sweet loot inside.
Hearthstone is for free, so you definitely should check it out if you haven't. Now, about Hearthstone, we don't have anyone from the game dev team here from the Hearthstone team, but everybody has been involved in Hearthstone in some way, especially with Warcraft. So I want to hear from you guys. Let's go ahead and hear from Jason first. When did you realize that Hearthstone was going to be big? Because I think when we first heard about it within the company, someone said we are going to build a trading card game. And I think there was some mixed reaction within the company. They're like, what? Like, we always release these epic game titles. And there's this trading card game. Are we sure about this? And I think some people had doubts on whether or not it'd be successful or not. So at what point, Jason, did you realize Hearthstone was going to be big?
I think it really comes down to roughly, gosh, what was it, 2 years ago, last year when we did the Christmas game. So June of last year, we were in a spot where, I don't know if you guys know this about Blizzard and sort of playing to some of the themes that you had earlier, Kim, about how awesome it is to work at the company. Roughly 2 years ago in June, or last June, excuse me, we were at a spot where we were trying to figure out what is going to be the employee holiday gift. Some of you may know what this is. If not, I'll sort of let you in on the tradition. Every year, Blizzard is just that rad that we do a special one-off thing for employees only. And last June, after coming off of a couple years of doing we did a treasure goblin sculpt that had a removable head with a Santa hat on it, and we did Kerrigan before that, and we've done jackets and cool stuff like that. Anyway, the point is last June, Nick came into my office and basically just said, look, Hearthstone is the next big thing, right? And we didn't know this. I mean, this was still 8 months in advance of the game releasing, but he was very insistent, this is the next big thing. And Nick is privy to a certain level of stuff within the company that obviously I'm not privy to. But I could sense that excitement. And ultimately where we netted out was, okay, well then, for the employee gift this year, not even knowing what was on the horizon, we are going to do a Hearthstone. So ultimately we took the Hearthstone box, and Nick and his guys over in the cinematics basically translated that into this really rad plinth, which is basically just a fancy pedestal. And it had 3 wooden prongs, sort of cartoony prongs that broke off of it. And then we created an actual replica Hearthstone. The damn thing actually pulses, kind of like a MacBook. Sort of breathes, right? It lights up and breathes. And we put it together, and sure enough, it shipped for this year for the holiday gift. And employees were just so kinetic about this thing. They were so impassionate. I just really got a sense of just how big and exciting this game was going to be, not only to our people, but ultimately what that was going to mean for the outside. Because I think more than anything, Blizzard folks are gamers by nature, and we are probably our biggest fans. And it's just cool to see that kinetic excitement translate 1-to-1, if not bigger, on the outside.
And from a development perspective, I think even before that, going back a full 2 years, part of why there probably was that much excitement, the way Blizzard develops games, it's a very collaborative process, even across the different teams. And so as soon as a group of people has something that they want to at least get feedback on, get some opinions on, we'll have a super small, closed, really pre-alpha just among the development teams. And they'll just kind of send out emails to the Warcraft team, the Starcraft team, the Diablo team, saying, hey, we think this is ready for you to check out. You can grab the game here. It's pretty unpolished, it's pretty rough, but just let us know what you think. And you could just walk around the office that first week, and this was a solid 2 years ago, well before it was announced, well before it was anyone close to final, and you would just see Hearthstone on everyone's screens. It was something that immediately everyone took to, and we realized, okay, skepticism is gone, this is going to be something.
And just a little anecdote, because it's cool that, how many of you guys have kind of been playing Blizzard games since Warcraft 3? How many people jumped in later than WoW? How many people were in when WoW first came out? Burning Crusade? Lich King? They were getting warm. So it's interesting to see kind of when as people have jumped in over the years and kind of been part of this thing that we've been doing. I can tell you about Hearthstone that the really, really cool thing about Hearthstone is the team loved this game. They built this thing with their hands. It was a small team, and they were super passionate about translating this card game and building a tight little project. And you see it in the product. You see their love. It's just really well crafted, and it's got spirit and heart and fun. And for many years here with World of Warcraft, especially, we had become this really big company. We're working on these big, giant, planet-cracking, pieces of commerce. We got to build these big, giant games, these big summer blockbusters, and to see one of our teams kind of step out and just do this tight little thing, but it has just as much fire and spirit and identity, has been really good for us, right? Just kind of go, or we could just be this game development company and kind of try smaller ideas as well as the big ideas. And it's been very, very liberating to see people respond to Hearthstone. I think it helps us. It helps us kind of relax a little bit and not have to be this, kind of gigantic thing or run at this gigantic pace. Is that people love games, whatever they are, what shape they take, as long as they're kind of made with love and thoughtful design and a lot of passion, that's what counts. And it was an important thing for us to see again after all the big, the crazy heights of World of Warcraft. Games is games, and it's cool to remember that. And you guys taught us that again, and it's a big thing.
Mickey, what do you have to add to that? I know that you're usually focusing on the publishing side. And so Hearthstone is essentially a part of the Warcraft universe. So did you have any idea how big it was going to be, and were you really paying attention to it and before it actually released, or did you have insider info?
So, well, aside from some of the characters from the comic books and some of the published fiction being in the game, I'm in the same boat with Chris, where I was just we knew what was going on with the team, and we knew that it was a very small team, and it felt like going back to the roots of like what I was talking about when I started at the company, and it's like 10 or 11 people. You know, it's just this really core group, and they're just laser focused on creating this ultra fun game, and they knocked it out of the park. It was just amazing. I figured they would, but I was very pleased when I played the game and immediately just warmed to it. And like you said, it's got character, it's got heart, it's amazingly fun. So I was glad to see that. It was like the old days.
Great. So I just checked the time and I realized we're halfway through, and I definitely want to make sure that we save enough time for Q&A. So we're going to move over to gear now and talk about some of the merchandise that we have not only here, but is also coming soon. So Jason.
Okay, so here's the deal. Look, it's an exciting year for the company. There's lots of stuff happening, and that very much so translates to our side of the business, right? Because you guys are excited, how could we not be excited in turn and sort of try to create stuff, fabricate stuff that helps you guys celebrate that excitement. So with that, we've got sort of a Comic-Con teaser of things that are going on not only here at the show, but also some things that are premiering on gear.blizzard.com right now. So let's check it out. So we're busy. The reality is, guys, that's just a fraction of some of the things that are going on. I just want to give you a quick moment to kind of give you a little bit of info on some of the things that are happening here at the show. So Tifa, let's just jump into a couple slides here. We'll go real quick. Cupid Deadly. Some of you might know what Cupid Deadly is, some of you might not. But basically, last year Comic-Con, we premiered for the first time a Sylvanas Cupid Deadly minifig. And truth be told, we've been working on this line for a while. There's a whole source book of art, and it's just nuts. Long story short, we did Sylvanas last year. We continued that tradition with 3 additional figures last year for BlizzCon, so if you guys were at BlizzCon, you got this for free in your goodie bag. It's Kerrigan, Diablo, doing the horns there, and then Arthas. This year at Comic-Con, we are continuing the line, and just gonna go and hit the next slide, because we are doing a cloaked version of Zeratul. If you haven't seen this on the show floor, come and check it out. He's not only cloaked, but his box is cloaked. So really cool, 2,500 pieces available this weekend. Let's hit the next slide. Pop Vinyl just continues to be a rad performer for us, and we really love kind of translating our characters into this style. There's lots going on, lots of news on the Pop Vinyl front for us. We're doing Primal Kerrigan for Comic-Con, but if you come by the Blizzard booth right now, we've premiered Deathwing, so you can see an oversized version of Deathwing. He's super cute, and then we've got a Murloc, which is now Murloc scale size. So we've got an oversized Deathwing, we've got a regular size Pops, and we've got a Murloc size Pop that you can come and check out right now in the show booth. Okay, so plush has kind of become a really big deal around the office for toys and collectibles. We're doing lots of it right now because folks are just really excited about it. For Comic-Con, we're doing the Nether Dragon. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but he's got a highly articulated tail. We've got the same armature in here as what you would see in a small camera tripod, so you can really pose them honestly around your neck, around your arms, in all sorts of different cosplay ways. So that's available now, and then we have the regular version available in August in the gear store. Okay, this one's kind of special and near to my heart. 3.5 months ago, we had already been working on the Treasure Goblin plush, and we had an oh-poop moment where one of our con exclusives kind of fell off the radar. We couldn't deliver it in time, and we were really sad about it. So we had this all-hands meeting where we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Ultimately, we were early, or I should say late enough in the production cycle of the Treasure Goblin that we called our vendor for that. We're like, could we do a variant? Is there still time to do a variant? And they said, no, but what are you thinking? So we jammed this idea together of, well, what would happen if a Treasure Goblin got lost in Whimsyshire? And ultimately went native. And so we came up with this ridiculous idea. We cruised it by Team 3. And they were so stupidly excited about this that they gave us the green light that day, which never happens ever at the company. So long story short, we had started drumming this thing together, working on a design. We shared it with them. They were really excited about it. And then and we started working on the plush. Well, 3 weeks ago, something appeared in the PTR that we weren't expecting. So for those of you who've been playing Diablo, the Whimsyshire Goblin is currently in the PTR. He's being considered for the next patch. But the crazy thing is, and I never get to do dev updates. So the crazy thing is, if he makes it right now, what currently happens if you down him is not only does he spill loot, but he opens an instant portal to Whimsyshire. So kind of cool and different.
Hey, round of applause for that. Yay!
I want to tell you guys about this thing that we're doing here this weekend. It's called Loot Crazy. So this is our quest activity. We want to see you guys participating. It's really simple. I want to give you some really cool stuff. We've got all sorts of crazy stuff from the exclusives this weekend to capsule toys, our new pin trading program. We're going to be doing some bigger prizes too, like Art of Blizzard, the Sword of Justice replica from NECA. There's also a chance tomorrow, if you are participating tomorrow, there is a chance to win what we call the golden ticket with Duncan Jones. I know a lot of you guys are really excited about the upcoming Warcraft film. We are equally as excited. If you participate in Loot Crazy tomorrow on Friday, which is going to run, I think, between 5 and 7. Is that right, Nicole? So between 5 and 7 tomorrow, you have a chance to pull the golden ticket for a private meet and greet with Duncan Jones. So pretty cool. And just to let you guys kind of know how it works, it's really simple. Just visit any one of our partner booths here on the show floor, like Sideshow, for example. Snap a pic of an upcoming product like 1/6 Rainer or Deathwing. Post it to your social media account, doesn't matter which one, with the hashtag LootCrazy. Come by the booth 5 to 7 or the last 2 hours of each day. We'll authenticate that post and we'll pull a prize at random from a giant version of the Treasure Gauntlet. We have a giant stuffed Treasure Gauntlet. It's really hard to miss.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Is there more? Oh,
there's more.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, before you continue, just to get the Q&A started, if you have a question, go ahead and start lining up while Jason finishes up.
Just some other special events to keep in mind as we're working through the weekend. We've got a special event. It's actually a signing with Duncan Jones. It's going to be happening in the booth on Saturday. If you'd like to attend, we're going to be doing a ticket distribution at 11 o'clock on Saturday. It'll be first come, first serve. We'd love for you guys to hang out and meet Duncan. He's a truly rad man. I know a bunch of these guys can speak to it. He's really down to earth. We're excited to have him, host him. I think there's one more thing. Yeah, so we're also doing capsule machines. If you guys were at BlizzCon, we brought back the capsule machines with metallic variants here for the show. You can also pull prizes from the capsule machines. It's $1 a capsule, but I can't encourage you enough to do this, if only to take home a token. The reason why is some of you may recognize the token. I've got it in hand here. It's actually the coin from Hearthstone. So we fabricated these tokens. You can take them home as souvenirs or whatever, or just spend them in our capsule machines. And then we also have pin trading hours. Like I said, we've launched this pin trading program. We're really excited about it. Come by the booth. We've got hours for it. And if you don't happen to pull the pin that you want from our blind tear bags, we'd be happy to trade it out with you, provided we feel like the trade is cool. So with that, let's do it.
All right. Okay, so I don't know, do we have a moderator for managing? Oh, there we go. Great. So we're on to a Q&A now. We want to make sure we give some time for some questions, and we'll do our best. Again, we won't be able to answer all your questions because we don't have everybody, of course, at the company represented here, but we'll do our very best. So go ahead.
Okay, within Diablo, Reaper of Souls expansion made it closer to what it should have been when it first came out. In respect to Diablo 2, the account-bound items, they got rid of the auction house because you guys said it was not good for the tradition of Diablo and item collection. Taking into account the drops and drop rates are a little better. Can we get rid of the account-bound mythic items so that we can actually trade again, like Diablo 2 was?
That's a really great suggestion. I don't know if there's anyone on here that can answer to that.
On the Diablo team, but we will take that back to the shop and make sure that's being thought about a lot.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yes, I don't know if any of you guys can answer, but one thing that's probably been coming is the state of Diablo 3's PvP. There's been a lot of different things promised. Is there anything coming around between teams or capture the flag or anything fun to really build out Diablo 3's PvP?
That's probably another question that I would say if we had something to announce or share, we will. But for today's panel, I don't think we have anything but Chris.
It's suddenly super conspicuous that we do not have Diablo representation at the panel. How did that happen? Yeah, we will forward all Diablo inquiries to the crew and make sure that they're thinking about all this stuff for sure.
How you guys doing? I've been with Blizzard Games for a while. One of my first memories, I remember picking up Warcraft Orcs vs. Humans at Comp USA with my own money, and I remember that being a big deal to me. And most recently, I've been playing a ton of Reaper of Souls and Hearthstone. My question is, do you guys ever feel guilty of almost going to the well too much, or the same well about your big three franchises? Because essentially you've got Diablo, you've got Warcraft, you've got StarCraft, and then you've got your iterations therein. Do you guys ever long to do anything unique that aren't, in those big three? I know there's no announcements of any new franchises, but do you guys want to?
Very smart. Very smart.
I like how you phrased the question.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, make it stop. Yes, we long for that day. We should really do something about that.
He's not sitting down.
It's like an awkward sound.
Hi, I'm Simon. My question's directed more towards Ian and Chris. I've been playing WoW and raiding since Molten Core and Vanilla, and most recently raided with Blood Legion, main raider for 2 years. My question is regarding the state of MMOs in the future. So with all, when WoW came out in 2004, I'm sure no one could have predicted, what it would be today, 10 years later, and how the beast that it became today. And so with all your experience in the gaming industry, and specifically in WoW, where do you see MMOs 10 years from now? Specifically WoW.
Yeah, that's a tricky question. It's a very broad question. I think we see it one step at a time. We see it one expansion at a time, one iteration at a time. Ultimately, we are trying to continue to shape and expand the world, and we're trying to create content that's going to engage and please players of our game and potential new ones who are coming to it. One of the increasing challenges of working on a game that is entering its 10th full year is that you have this mix of people who have been playing the game since day one, who are looking for something new and fresh that they've never seen before. You have people who are coming to it for the first time, who are overwhelmed by all of this complexity and depth and 90 different features and systems that they all need to, kind of wrap their heads around. You have people who started playing the game when they were students, who are now, the parents of people who are about to be students. And they're still trying to fit the game into their lives. So I think a lot of what we have done to shape the game has been to kind of broaden it, to keep the core of the different features while providing alternate ways of accessing the type of gameplay. I think to use raiding as an example, since that's something that you brought up, I like the Blood Legion shirt that you're rocking, by the way. Kind of had a hint what the question was going to be about. In day one, WoW, in 2004, 2005, raiding was an activity for like a fraction of a percent of players. Most people were just trying to get to level 60, and for those few hardcore, it was something to keep them engaged, for them to do since they'd reached max level. Over time, more and more people got to max level looking to get into that, but also the people who once loved that gameplay can't actually dedicate, 4 hours a night on a fixed schedule anymore, and they still want to experience it. So we've done things like creating, looking for raid mode, or more accessible ways of seeing the content while keeping limited exclusive avenues for those who want that. So I think increasingly broadening, I guess, is the big picture answer to the big picture question.
Hi, my question is about other content for StarCraft other than Legacy of the Void. I've noticed most of the Blizzard stuff coming out are for Warcraft, and I'm just wondering, there's a Warcraft movie, there's Hearthstone's all Warcraft. How about StarCraft? Like, where's the love for StarCraft?
The love for StarCraft is alive and well. We still have a big story to tell. I don't even know how to tease anymore. It's like, don't say anything, but yeah. It's coming.
All right, we have time for one more question.
All right, well, awesome. I know in the day of...
Make it good, baby.
I'll try to.
Sorry for everyone else.
So in the day that there's all this social media going on, and web posting, there wasn't one detail, I have to really give it up to you guys, one detail about the movie that has been leaked yet. Is there any way that you can share with this audience anything, any details about the movie?
Not without immediately being shot. There's a reason. Yeah. There's snipers in here you do not see.
But there is a panel on Saturday at 12:30, a legendary panel, and they're going to be talking about some really cool stuff. So if you guys get a chance, you should head on over there.
All right, well, everyone, thank you very much for coming out here and hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed the rest of Comic-Con 2014.
Thanks, guys.